In the stifling stillness of a summer night, something stirs in the abandoned shell of the old Millfield High School. A disturbance not of this world, a spectre of dread and despair takes form. It is drawn to the lingering fears and regrets of the townspeople, their unspoken worries given substance in the darkness. It began in 1983 in Millfield, Ohio, a town so remote that the pulse of civilization was a distant hum. Time seemed to slow down here. The rhythm of life was dictated by the changing seasons and the gossiping wind through the cornfields. But that tranquility was a facade, a fragile thing easily shattered. It started with young Bobby Tremolite, the life of the town. He was the kind of guy who could coax a smile out of a tombstone. But one day, his laughter was stilled, replaced by a hacking cough that shook his lean frame. Then he began to waste away, his skin stretched tight over his bones, his eyes dimming like a candle's last flicker. Fear, that insidious weed, took root in Millfield's fertile ground. Whispers became pronouncements. Bobby's wasting illness was labeled the gay plague, a judgment from on high. Despite knowing nothing of the disease, they shunned him, turning their backs on the one who needed their support the most. But Bobby wasn't gay. He was just sick, horribly, terribly sick. As Bobby's condition worsened, so did the town's hysteria. The church bells, usually a comforting chime, now sounded like a death knell. Even Pastor Ellis, normally a beacon of unwavering faith, preached sermons laced with fear of God. The shadow, he cried, had come to claim souls. Meanwhile, Bobby's mother, Lila, clung to reason. While the town succumbed to the suffocating grip of fear, Lila scoured medical journals, searching for answers in the cold, hard print. She found tales of tainted blood transfusions and instruments contaminated with the blood of strangers. And her gaze fell on Bobby's car accident 2 years past, the accident that had brought him back from the brink of death, the accident that might have been his undoing. That's when the shadow truly began to take shape in Millfield. People began to see it everywhere, a dark, shapeless mass lurking in the periphery. Old Mrs. Carver, who lived in the house by the creek, saw it in her mirror, a fleeting glimpse of an entity that seemed both familiar and utterly alien. Tommy Hargrove, the town drunk, swore it stalked him from the bar, whispering his name in a voice that scraped against his sanity. Then Bobby died on a day as grey as the shroud that covered his coffin. 6 more from Millfield followed him to the grave, succumbing to the same wasting sickness. Fear turned neighbour against neighbour. The diner emptied out, the church pews were filled with empty shadows, and the kids stopped playing in the woods, for the trees rustled with unseen movement, and the laughter of children echoed eerily in the wind. The climax came when Lila confronted the shadow in the abandoned Millfield High. In her hand, she clutched a kitchen knife, her only weapon against the encroaching darkness. But when she lunged, the creature recoiled, surprised by her audacity. The next morning, Lila was found slumped against the mill wall, her knife embedded in the soft earth beside her. She survived, but her spirit was broken, her sanity hanging by a thread. The stroke, the doctors said, but the children knew better. The shadow retreated, but it never truly left. It lingered in the basements of the town's collective memory. The disease might have run its course, but Millfield was a changed place forever. The diner never reopened. The church struggled to keep its doors open, and the townspeople lived in a state of perpetual fear, always looking over their shoulders, always bracing for the return of the shadow.